Folks, as we detailed out the top, former NCAA swimmer Riley Gaines was assaulted by a left-wing trans activist mob after she gave a speech at San Francisco State University. She was there to sound the alarm about the infiltration of biological men into women's sports. Just hours before, a biological male pretending to be a female was arrested for planning a Colorado shooting. His manifesto included detailed plans to target churches, schools, and Donald Trump. Despite growing evidence of violence in the left-wing trans movement, the White House insists that it's the trans community that is under attack, not 6 Christians, including children, who were killed in Nashville by a crazed transvestite, not biological women, and not conservatives. Joining me now is former California Congressman and CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, Devin Nunes. Congressman, it's fantastic to see you, and a blessed Good Friday and Happy Easter to you. How do you see all of this?
Well, same to you, Chris. And we were talking this morning, some of the folks at Truth Social, we were laughing about how none of us have been to San Francisco since before the pandemic. So even if you look back at the height of the tech boom, tech empire, before businesses were leaving California, San Francisco, this was probably in 2010, 2011. It was a beautiful city. And in just less than a decade, it's completely fallen apart to where if you're a Republican, you don't step foot in there. And, you know, my advice to the swimmer that was in there to give a presentation, that goes for, I mean, we just saw recently a federal judge went back, what I think was his alma mater, and went to Stanford and was run out of there. We saw the same thing with Charlie Kirk in Sacramento. So the bottom line is, sadly, Republicans should not go anywhere near San Francisco. I myself have not been able to go. And in fact, I even get nervous even when I'm in the airport there. Sometimes I have to transit through the airport there. So look, and then I think what we all know is with these mass shootings, anytime it's not someone who is a Republican or a conservative, it is dropped from the headlines and a new narrative is developed. Now, what's going on in Tennessee, I was glad to see Republicans finally understand that these leftists, these Marxists throughout the country will not stop burning down the country until we play a hardball. And they only understand one thing, and that is pain. So 2 of the 3 state senators or state reps were expelled from the Tennessee House. Probably should have been all 3, but look, at least it's a start.
Well, I'm right there with you. And I look, first off, Bill Maher, even left-wingers, Bill Maher says of San Francisco that it's the poop capital of the United States. That's his words, not mine, because of what the left has done. And you're right. I think writ large, Republicans have got to know and understand that the left wing is now the party of violence. House Republicans have issued their first subpoena in the investigation of Manhattan District Attorney's Office. But frustrated Americans, Congressman, are noticing a pattern here. The GOP is always in investigation mode, and the Democrats are always acting, and usually outside of the law. Mr. Bragg has violated so many laws and so many standards, it's not even funny. Let me ask you a question. Maybe you've had discussions with current and former Republicans. When do you think the GOP is going to get serious about defending their voters and defending this country from the Democrats' abuse?
Well, look, Chris, the only weapon that the Republicans have is that subpoena power in the House. And I would say, if anything, I think there's a little bit of a frustration out there that they haven't moved fast enough, that there haven't been enough subpoenas issued. And I would argue that one of the challenges they have is there's so many investigations that have to be run by the Republicans in Congress because the Democrats have become a Marxist, lawless party, and the whole rule of law is breaking down, just like we talked about San Francisco. The same is true in Chicago. The same is true with the court system. And I think what is most interesting in this particular case is perhaps the links between the Biden DOJ and this Manhattan courthouse. So we talked about last week on Fridays with Chris. This is, of course, Good Fridays with Chris. But we talked about how there was a fight amongst the Biden DOJ people along with the Manhattan group. Right. Well, there's also someone who transitioned from the Biden DOJ, one of the top people, over into Manhattan. I think that's what the Republicans have to get to the bottom of. But look, we can't lose sight of the fact here that there are other multiple investigations I think they are trying to do everything they can to bring more indictments against President Trump. And look, people say, well, gosh, hasn't it backfired? Trump's went up in the polls. I have to tell people, they don't give a damn. They think that because the document hoax didn't work, Trump went up in the polls. Now they do an indictment. That didn't work. Trump goes up in the polls. Now they think they're just going to double and triple down. And I think what the Republicans need to do is they really have to look at both of these special prosecutors, not just the one that's doing the documents hoax case, but also the one that is going after, that is looking at Joe Biden, because as we know, he is a known Russia hoaxer. Anybody who is a Russia hoaxer should not be anywhere near any investigation.
I know. I'm right there with you. Look, I've only got about 30 seconds left, and I want to get you to weigh in on this. Yesterday, the White House released their report on the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. Publicly, you were there, you and I watched this, the Biden regime said that they were going to dismiss everything that Trump had said in his withdrawal from Afghanistan, everything he had set up. They dismissed and went with their own plan. Now they're blaming Trump. Congressman, what do you think about this revisionist history courtesy of Joe Biden's regime?
Yeah, look, these guys knew. I was there at the time. We knew this was going to be a total disaster. And you don't have to be a military or expert or a historian or a classicist historian. You don't have to know jack. All you have to do is know a little common sense that you don't leave the last remnants of a 20-year force, meaning the United States, in Afghanistan. You don't leave them at the international airport in Kabul. You leave out of a fortified base somewhere. And Chris, I think even my 10-year-old daughter would kind of know that you don't go into a big city. You probably go to a fortified base. And, she doesn't know anything about the military, but they knew damn well what they were doing when they do it. They knew, I was there, they knew of the potential for chaos, and they invited it. We all warned them that this was going to happen if they didn't keep that base. The base was about 2 hours north of Kabul. So yes, you're right. It's revisionist history. The sad part is what we're dealing with is the fake news will help promote those narratives, and the left knows that, and the Biden White House knows that. And so look, it's up to us to expose it and then get it out to places like Truth Social and Rumble and other places. But Chris, we could have went the whole Good Friday. I'm sorry, I know I'm running past time here.
Well, happy Easter to you. Congressman Devin Nunes, we'll see you on Truth Social and see you next week.